Good day, welcome to English Ed 501 Statistics. My name is Jay and I'll be talking about prose and drama. What is prose? Prose is a verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech. Actually, prose is the most common form of writing. It is used in both fiction and non-fiction. And prose comes from the Latin word pros ration, meaning straightforward. There are four distinct types of prose that writers used. First is the non-fictional prose, prose that is a true story or factual account of events and information. Textbooks, newspaper articles, instruction manuals can fall under this category. Second one is the fictional prose, a literary work of fiction. And fictional prose is the most popular type of literary prose, and it is used in novels and short stories. Number three is the heroic prose. It is either written down or preserved through oral tradition, but it is meant to be recited. Heroic prose is usually a legend or fable. And last type of prose is the prose poetry. Poetry written in prose form. It is a literary hybrid, can sometimes have rhythmic and rhyming patterns. The function of prose. The adoption of prose can be attributed to its loosely defined structures, which most writers feel comfortable using when expressing or conveying their ideas or thoughts. It is the standard style of writing used for most spoken dialogues, fictional as well as topical and factual writing and discourses. And also, it is the common language used in newspapers, magazines, literature, encyclopedias, broadcasting, philosophy, law, history, the sciences, and many other forms of communication. What is now the difference between prose and poetry? Prose follows natural patterns of speech and communication. It also has a grammatical structure with sentences and paragraph. Also, it uses everyday language and sentences and thoughts continue across the lines. While poetry has deliberate patterns such as rhythm and rhyme. Many poems have a formal metrical structure, repeating patterns of beats, perhaps. It incorporates more figurative language. Poem also visually stand out on a page with narrow columns, varying line, length, and more white space on a page than prose. And lastly, it deliberate line breaks. Let's take a look at the all-time best prose writers. William Shakespeare, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy, Victor Hugo, Charles Dickens, J.R.R. Tolkien, George Orwell, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, and Jane Austen. First is William Shakespeare in the year 1564 to 1616. He is best known for King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet. He is actually an English poet, playwright, and actor, and he was widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. Second is Fyodor Dostoevsky in the year 1821 to 1881. He is best known for Crime and Punishment, Demons, and The Idiot. He is a Russian novelist, short essay writer, essayist, journalist, and also he is a philosopher. His works explore human psychology in the troubled times, politically socially, spiritually in the 19th century Russia. And also his work involves philosophical and religious themes. Third is Leo Tolstoy in the year 1828 to 1910. He is a Russian writer and he became famous because of his realist fiction. And on his 20s, he first achieved literary acclaim with his semi-autobiographical work. Fourth one is Victor Hugo in the year 1802 to 1885. He is best known for Les Miserables, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Odes and Ballads. Many of his works actually inspired music during his lifetime and also after his death. Fifth one is Charles Dickens in the year 1812 to 1870. He is best known for Great Expectations, A Christmas Carol, and Bleak House. He is an English writer and also a social critic. He was famous in his own lifetime, giving lectures and performing readings. He is also recognized as a literary genius for his realism, comedy, prose style, unique characterizations, and social criticism. Sixth one is J.R.R. Tolkien OBE or John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, Order of the British Empire in the year 1892 to 1973. He is an English writer, a poet, a philologist, and a professor at Oxford University. After his death, the Silmarillion, The Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbits were published. Seventh one is George Orwell in the year 1903 to 1950. He is best known for 1984 and Animal Farm. His work is marked by lucid prose, awareness of social injustice, opposition to totalitarianism, and outspoken support of democratic socialism. The eighth one is Mark Twain in the year 1835 to 1910. He is best known for Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. He is actually an American writer, a humorist, an entrepreneur, publisher, and also a lecturer. And he was to become known as the father of American literature. The ninth one is the famous Edgar Allan Poe in the year 1809 to 1849. He is best known for The Raven, The Tellheart, and The Cask Amontillado. He is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales of mystery. The last one is Jane Austen in the year 1775 to 1817. He is best known for Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma. Usually, Austen's plot often explore the dependence of women on marriage for economic security and the pursuit of favorable social standing. What is drama? It is a mode of fictional representation through dialogue and performance. It is one of the literary genre, which is an imitation of some action. Drama is also a type of a play written for theater, television, radio, and film. There are five common types of drama. First one is the comedy. Comedies are lighter in tone than ordinary works, and also it provides a happy conclusion. Hence, they are used quaint circumstances, unusual characters, and witty remarks. Second one is tragedy. Tragic dramas use darker themes such as disaster, pain, and death. Third one is farce. A farce is actually a nonsensical genre of drama which often overacts or engage slapstick humor. Fourth one is melodrama. It is actually an exaggerated drama which is sensational and appeals directly to the senses of the audience. Just like farce, the characters are of a single dimension and simply or maybe stereotyped. And last is the musical drama. Dramatists not only tell their stories through acting and dialogue, but through dance as well as music. The function of drama. Dramatists can directly speak to their readers or the audiences, and they can receive instant feedback of the audiences. A few dramatists uses their characters as a vehicle to convey their thoughts and values, such as poets do with personas and novelists do with narrators. Since drama uses spoken language and dialogues, thus language of character plays a vital role, as it maybe can give some clues to their feelings, personalities, background, and change in feelings. In dramas, characters live out a story without any comments of the author, providing the audience a direct presentation of characters' life experience. The famous playwrights William Shakespeare, Henrik Ibsen, Anton Chekhov, Sophocles, and Arthur Miller. First one is William Shakespeare in the year 1564 to 1616. He is best known for The Two Gentlemen of Verona, Merchant of Venice, Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, and The Tempest. His literary style actually are comedies, histories, tragedies, and tragic comedies. Next one is Henrik Ibsen in the year 1828 to 1906. He is best known for Brand, Peer Gynt, Emperor and the Galilean, A Doll's House, Ghost, An Enemy of the People, The Wild Duck, Hedda Gabler, The Master Builder, and When We Dead Awaken. His literary style focuses on modernism, realism, and naturalism. Fourth one is Anton Chekhov in the year 1860 to 1904. He is best known for Ivanov, The Seagull, Uncle Vanya, Three Sisters, The Lady with the Dog, and The Cherry Orchard. His literary style is modernism. Fourth one is Sophocles, 497 BC to 405 BC. He is best known for Ajax, Antigone, Women of Trachis, Oedipus Rex, Electra, Philoctetes, Oedipus at Colonus. His literary style is classical tragedy, and his famous play demonstrates masterful dramatization of mythological tales. The last one is Arthur Miller in the year 1915 to 2005. He is best known for All My Sons, Death of Salesman, The Crucible, A View from the Bridge, and The Misfits. His literary styles are realism, symbolism, and expressionism. Let's now proceed to the critical literary views and theorists. First one is the biographical criticism, wherein the literature as the reflection of an author's life and times, or also the character's life and times. It is necessary to know the author's political, economical, and sociological context during his time in order for us to be able to truly understand his work. Second is the new historicist criticism, wherein literature as a part of the history. New criticism compares literary analysis to a dynamic circle. So the work tells us something about the surrounding ideology, such as yung mga slavery, rights of women, and so on and so forth. Third one is the formalism or the new criticism. It involves a close reading of the text. All information essential to the interpretation of the work must be found within the work itself. It focuses on analyzing irony, paradox, imagery, and metaphor. Also interested in the work's settings, perhaps characters, symbols, and point of view. The fourth one is the psychoanalytical criticism. It is based on the theories of Freud. Within this criticism centers on the psychology of the characters and analyzes the characters' motivation, behaviors, and actions. The fifth one is the archetypal or the mythological criticism, wherein we're going to assume that there is a collection of symbols, images, characters, and motives, and this can identify the patterns, and it discusses how can they function in the work. The last one is the feminist or the gender criticism. It is the way in which literature reinforce or undermine the economic, political, and psychological oppression of course, the women itself. The role of women in the literary work, the representation of women, power structures between men and women, and of course, the female or the feminine experience. Let's proceed to the characteristics of prose and drama. First one is the characterization. It is the act of creating and describing characters in literature. Also, characterization includes both descriptions of a character's physical attributes and the character's personality. Second is the setting. It is the time and location in which the story takes place. The third one is the conflict, wherein it is the struggle between two forces. And we have two types of conflict. We have external conflict and internal conflict. When we say external conflict, it is between the two characters or between a character and a natural force. An example of Harry Potter and Voldemort, that is an external conflict. And the internal conflict occurs within one character. An example for this is this struggle of Harry Potter, wherein he is trying to decide if he should sacrifice his life to end Voldemort, or Katniss choosing which man she loves. Fourth one is the point of view. When we say point of view, it is the perspective from which a story is narrated. We have here the first person point of view, second person point of view, and the third person point of view. The first person point of view, the character is telling the story. You will see the words I, me, or we. For example, I always look forward to my summer vacation. Second person point of view, the writer has the narrator speaking to the reader. You can find the words you, your, and yours. For example, in just a few simple steps, you can make a big change in your life. And the third person point of view, it has an external narrator telling the story. You can find the words he, she, it, or they. For example, he is a great football player. He scored the most touchdowns this season. The fifth one is the plot or the series of events. There are 5 parts of the plot. First one is the exposition, wherein it introduces the characters, the settings, and the conflict. Second one is the rising action. It builds up the suspense. Third one is the climax, the turning point of the story. Fourth one is the falling action. The suspense lessens and the story is approaching to the end. And last one is the resolution, wherein the conflict is resolved and the loose ends are tied. And of course, the last one is the theme, or also called as the main idea or an underlying meaning of the literary work, which may be stated directly or indirectly. The features of prose. First one is the language and choice of words. Basically, the language of prose is an ordinary one. Prose does not employ any poetic formula except if it is actually needed. And of course, the language of prose is an everyday language. It uses grammatical structure of sentences, chapter and paragraphs, and the sentences and thought continues, of course, across the lines. Second one is the sequence or the series of events. Prose is made up of characters and incidences that are organized in a chronological order. Third one is the use of narrative techniques. Techniques employed in prose is that of a storyteller. Prose tells a story by systematic recitation of an event or series of events, and prose, rather than showing, explains or narrates an event. Absence of rhythmic pattern. Prose does not use rhythmic patterns or meter. Unlike poetry, prose has no set of rules for metrical structure or rules. Number 4 is it is detailed and explicit. Prose, by its narrative attribute, clearly explains events and the purpose of the literary work as intended by the writer. The work of prose is more comprehensive, and the intention of the prose writer is not far-fetched. And the use of the characters. Prose is not biased by the use of character. Prose uses both fictional and non-fictional characters to narrate its story to achieve the purpose, of course. Prose can even use fictional characters to represent real-life characters. It is through the characters that the writer passes the message of the literary work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The eighth one is the expository. Prose incorporates expository style of writing. It is characterized by elucidating views, topics, and events for the consumption and the critique of the audience. And last is it is descriptive. You can employ descriptions spontaneously while narrating the events. And last, let's proceed to the features of drama. First one is the cast. So when we say cast, it includes every person who played any character in the drama. It includes the lead and of course the supporting actors, as well as the people that play a more background role. Second one is the playwright. This is the person who creates the dramatic piece. It could be just one person or more. Third one is the protagonist. When we say protagonist, it is the lead actor or the main character of the drama. Fourth one is the antagonist. When we say antagonist, the character plays an opposite role from the protagonist. So he or she is oftentimes the villain in the story or the narrative. Fifth one is the conflict. Of course, conflict, the central cause for rivalry between the opposing characters. Number 6 is the Soliloquy. It is a dramatic device that gives the audience a glimpse at the character's intention by making them speak their thoughts out loud. It is also used to create emphasis for the crucial details in the story. Number 7 is the tragic flow. In order to thicken the plot and get the audience more invested in the story, the protagonist is made to act in a certain way that rubs the audience the wrong way. Such action could be tied to his pride or lack of self-control. The audience can get reeled up enough to create momentum for the protagonist's victory. Next one is the prologue. This is the beginning of the play. It offers an introduction to the body of the drama. At this point, adequate information is provided for the audience to settle into the story. Next one is the epilogue. This is actually the last part of the drama that ties up loose ends in the plot. So it acts as the closing and a possible explanation to the beginning of the story. It is at this point that the reader or viewer gets the entire point of the literary piece. And lastly, the flashback. This device is used to return to a past occurrence to offer the audience a reason for the actions of any character. It helps the audience gain insights into why things are the way they are and where the story could be headed. It could also offer an explanation to the situation wherein a sudden arrival of a fresh character, for example, a character suddenly announce himself as a protagonist husband, like that.